April 7, 2016, 12 young women and one man step off a plane at Incheon International Airport, South Korea. They are dressed in ordinary clothes. They carry small bags. They look exhausted, confused, and afraid. The South Korean government calls it historic, the largest group defection from North Korea since Kim Jong-un took power. But here's what the official account doesn't address. According to testimony later given to South Korean broadcaster JTBC, at least 3 of those 12 women say they had no idea where they were going. To understand what is alleged to have happened in Ningbo, China in April 2016, you first have to understand what it means to be chosen in North Korea. Being selected to work abroad is not just a job, it is a privilege, a signal that the state trusts you, that your family is loyal, that your bloodline is clean. The regime runs roughly 130 restaurants in countries around the world. In China, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Europe. These restaurants serve traditional North Korean food. The waitresses sing, they perform, they smile. And according to analysts cited by Reuters and the BBC, every dollar they earn flows back to Pyongyang. To be sent to one of these restaurants, you have to pass background checks. Your parents are investigated, your grandparents. Your political loyalty is assessed, scored, filed. You are not just an employee, you are an ambassador of the Kim regime whether you know it or not. The women who worked at the Ryugyong Korean restaurant in Ningbo, China were exactly that. Young, talented, carefully selected. They lived together in a dormitory near the restaurant. They were not free to wander. They were not free to speak to strangers, shopkeepers. Nearby described them as secretive, only ever seen walking to and from work, occasionally buying small things, hairbands, small necessities. One cosmetic shop owner across the lane remembered the loud, patriotic North Korean music that poured out of the restaurant every single day. She said she noticed when it stopped. It stopped on April 5, 2016. 2 days before that, 4 of the waitresses had walked into a nearby shop and bought backpacks, 3 of them at full price, 199 yuan each. They didn't bargain, which was unusual. A shop worker asked them if they were going on a trip. They said yes. He remembered that they seemed happy. What almost no one knew was that a plan had already been set in motion. A plan that, according to later testimony given to JTBC and CNN, the women themselves were completely unaware of. Meet Ho Gang-il. He was the manager of the Ryugyong restaurant in Ningbo, and he is the man at the center of everything. In his own account given first to South Korean broadcaster JTBC, and later in his only international media interview to CNN in May 2018, Ho says he had grown deeply disillusioned with the Kim Jong-un regime long before 2016. He says he had watched 5 of his friends executed without trial. He had seen what the system did to people who fell out of favor. He was afraid, and somewhere along the way, he claims, that fear had turned into a willingness to act. In his CNN interview, Ho says he first met with an agent from South Korea's National Intelligence Service, the NIS, in Shanghai in November 2015, in a rundown Shanghai motel. Ho claims a South Korean intelligence officer placed a contract on a table in front of him, a South Korean flag, and asked him to make a pledge of allegiance. Ho says he felt proud. He was photographed holding the flag, a photograph that, in North Korea's eyes, would make him a traitor, punishable by death. He had, by his own account, crossed a line he could never uncross. By early 2016, Ho says his situation had become dangerous. An ethnic Korean Chinese customer had allegedly discovered his connection to the NIS and was threatening to expose him to North Korean authorities. Ho says he reached out to his handler. He needed to get out. He needed to defect. And that is when he alleges everything changed. According to Ho's 2018 testimony to CNN, he claims the NIS told him he couldn't come alone, that he was pressured restaurant workers with him. To bring the restaurant workers with him, he says he pushed back. He told them it was too risky, too dangerous. If North Korea found out, people would die. Ho alleged that the NIS dismissed his concerns entirely. Their response, he claims, was direct and brutal. If you don't bring the workers with you, we will report you to the North Korean embassy and have you killed. According To Ho's own account decision, he made a he would do what he was told. He gathered the restaurant workers and told them they were relocating. New accommodations, better conditions. Pack your things. He put them in taxis. He told the drivers to take them to Shanghai airport. He says he did not tell the women where they were going. He did not tell them what was happening. He told them nothing. 2 of the workers sensed something was wrong. They and 3 others quietly slipped away. Some reports suggest they went to another North Korean restaurant in the nearby city of Hangzhou. 12 women remained. 12 women who, according to their own later testimony, trusted their manager. 12 women who got into those taxis. The NIS, he alleges, paid for the flights. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The group arrived and were taken toward the South Korean embassy. And that is when the women say they saw it. Described the moment in her own words. When we were going into the South Korean embassy in Malaysia, I thought, something is horribly wrong here. They hesitated. They panicked. And Ho, standing there with them, said the only thing he could think to say. We've gone too far already. We can't go back. But he didn't stop there. According to the women's own testimony to JTBC, Ho threatened them. He told them that if they tried to return, he would tell authorities they had been watching South Korean TV dramas, a crime in North Korea that could mean execution, or the complete destruction of their families. Thinking back, it was all nonsense, one of the women said later. But back then, I had no other choice. They boarded a flight to Incheon, a journey that takes most North Korean defectors months, sometimes years, of dangerous, terrifying travel through jungles, safe houses, and border crossings in the dark. These 12 women, according to the documented timeline, did it in 2 days. On April 8, 2016, South Korea's Unification Ministry made an announcement that stunned the world. 13 North Korean restaurant workers had defected to the South. The ministry stated they had done so voluntarily, of their own free will. Disillusioned with the Kim regime, the ministry released a photograph, blurred faces, masked figures, walking with their bags. It was framed as a moment of courage, of freedom chosen. The ministry called it unprecedented, the largest group defection since Kim Jong-un came to power in 2011, while the government denied any political motivation. Independent observers noted the announcement came just 5 days before South Korea's parliamentary elections, scheduled for April. The government has consistently rejected any suggestion of political timing. North Korea's response was immediate and furious. State media called it a group abduction, a hideous crime. The North Korean Red Cross demanded the women be returned. Pyongyang insisted they had been kidnapped. At the time, the world largely dismissed this as propaganda. Of course, North Korea would say that. Of course, they would claim their people were taken against their will. That's what authoritarian regimes do. But 2 years later, the Dae manager himself would walk into a CNN studio and say that parts of that account were true. In May 2018, Ho Gang-il gave his only international media interview to CNN. He sat down and told the story from the beginning. The alleged NIS recruitment in Shanghai, the photograph with the South Korean flag, what he describes as blackmail, the threat, and the lie. He says he told the women in the taxis, "I told them to go back. We need to move," he said. "I lied to them, put them in several taxis." He alleged that the NIS had told him not to say anything to the workers, because if they found out, they might run, and he could be reported and killed. He said he felt betrayed, manipulated, used. He had been promised rewards for his service, a NIS job, a medal. According to reporting by Reuters and News 18, none of it materialized. He had given up everything, nothing, and received. And then he said something that stopped the room. "I really miss my parents. And I'm very sorry for causing harm to people in North Korea," the man who had defected. Who claims he was recruited as an intelligence asset? Who says he was threatened into bringing 12 women across the world without their knowledge? Now wanted to go back. 12 people who, according to the testimony of at least 3 of them, say they did not choose to be there at all. One of them told a reporter, "If it was possible for me to go home even, now I would like to return to the bosom of my mother." She is not a symbol of freedom. She is not a headline. She has a daughter who misses her mother. She is a young woman who bought a backpack on April 5, 2016, thinking she was going on a trip and ended up somewhere she never asked to go. Unable to go back, unable to speak, unable to be found. The South Korean government called it the largest group defection since Kim Jong-un took power. The 2019 Human Rights Commission found no clear evidence of forced abduction. The manager says he was coerced. 3 of the women say they were deceived. The NIS has never spoken. What actually happened in those taxis on the way to Shanghai airport? What was said, what was promised, what was threatened, remains officially unresolved. The truth, like the women themselves, remains hidden.